Hey guys, how's it going? So, welcome to the Build Show. My name's Potter. We're going to talk today about another crypto play that is from one of the founders or starters of the original ROI DApp. So, let's get to it. And I've got other crypto news and some AI stuff and something right at the end. So, stick around or fast forward to the end. Let's get started. Hey guys, so welcome to the Build Show. My name's Potter. Decided to talk today a little bit about like crypto news. And before I do that, as you've seen pretty much on every video you've ever watched about crypto, this is not financial advice, unless you're on a show that's like okay to talk about it, but we're not. So do your own due diligence and get her did. So one of the big things that happened was the Bitcoin ETF regulation cleared, and why that's important. Oh, I thought maybe I was talking without my mic on. Why that's important is it kind of legitimizes crypto. And if you go back to last week's show and we're talking about dev and how things are working, for the SEC to be overruled, but you know, one of the things that people don't remember that Ginzler said was, hey, sometimes even the SEC has to learn that they can't do certain things. So I know he played the role of bad guy because he made a really good one, but maybe he also knew that it was an overreach at different points. So that's real cool. And you saw a kick up in the market because of it. Then you kind of saw cooling off. So you've also heard about, you know, people asking for Ginzler to be, you know, kind of ousted to get him out of there. And I don't necessarily know that that's a good thing, but it still fits in the spirit of where I'm trying to go, right? Because when it comes to regrets, you know, with this whole thing, I've seen a lot of people having like post-mortem videos about, you know, oh, I would have done it this way, or I should have done it this way. I had a lot of stuff happen in my life, so things happen the way that they're supposed to, and it doesn't mean, for me personally, this is my thing. It might be yours too. But just because it didn't happen the way I thought it should, doesn't mean that it's still not the right way. So I was watching this video, live stream of this guy who was out in a hurricane, storm chaser. He gets to the road, and I'm like, why are you out? He was in Perry, and I've driven through Perry, Florida, so I know trees are going to be falling, right? With winds. That's just what happens in northern Florida. And so it's dark. He sees a tree in the road. He gets out, gets his chainsaw out. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, don't get me wrong. Nobody's coming down the road. Nobody's on the road except this guy. And so he starts doing it. And I'm like, you could get hit by a tree. And so at one point, he's like, you know, pulling it, trying to pull things to the side. And then stuff kind of comes at him. So he goes back over to the side of the car, waits for, I guess, debris to blow by. He comes back. He has a better idea. He puts his chainsaw down on the road. He gets in his car. He backs up. Now, it's a chainsaw. There's a tree blocking the road. What could possibly go wrong? And so he backs up, pulls his car over. All of a sudden, you see this car coming down the street. I'm like, what? It's a highway, actually. The car comes up to him, makes a sharp right, runs over his chainsaw, ran over the chainsaw. And so he could not have been out in a hurricane. He could not maybe have put his chainsaw in the middle of the road, although you wouldn't think it. And the guy who ran it over picked the chainsaw up and left. And I think they knew them. So it just kind of shows you, even when you think you can do something right, it doesn't mean the outcome is good, right? So that's kind of where I go there. And that kind of is a segue into, me taking a look at elephant and the federal regulations and, the implications of looking at things in 2022 and looking at things in the fall or approaching end of summer to 2023. We have to do a lot of hopium and a lot of guessing to figure out what is what. But SK Crypto K, first one I remember, and Elephant Money Herd dropped some videos. Well, SK, I mean, you can go back and see on the shows. SK I've always talked to, but Elephant Herd, he really put things in a way, because this is the developers' strike back, right? So I'm trying to think of ways, we know that's the drip community, I'm trying to think of ways not only to keep passive income going, but a way to get our drip back, right? And if the founder of the initial code base that helped create drip has created an infrastructure where the liquidity is, hold on, I was going to share some stuff with you guys. Oh boy. No. Come on, my guy. Are you kidding me right now? It won't let me show anything other than the browser that I'm in. Well, bang goes that application. I guess I'll show that on tomorrow's show. So, share screen is canceled. Yeah. Duh. So, what they started talking about was elephant money and the mechanisms that it works with. And so the liquidity that's in elephant money is substantial and it keeps growing. And so when the elephant Elephant Money Herd released his video in January, he was telling everybody what it was going to do. I'm going to have to show this, guys, because it just doesn't have an impact unless I do. So I have to do something. Maybe it'll let me do it now. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if it looks for you. So I've got a bunch of different tabs open up here. I think one of the most important ones is, let's do a refresh here, because I think that's old. So yeah, this is where we were last week, guys, right? So we were at, that. So let's do a reload. I don't think I've reloaded this. And let's go 30 days. Right? This is still doing what it's supposed to do. And so I gotta find out which one of these I was thinking about. Which one shows the chart the best? I mean, this is the chart that everybody else looks like, but going back to being a developer, I wanted to understand the mechanisms that make this work, right? Because I wanted them to be repeatable. And you have a similar behavior here, right? With this level and this level, but then you can kind of go down here and go, okay, well, that's the case there. And you can look at charts that look incredibly bullish. And then you can look at this one and go, well, that's off. But it's not, but I needed to understand it more. So the more I started doing a deep dive, there's more than this. There's logic behind, well, why is it doing that? And so that's kind of what I want to understand programmatically, so that I can help construct something that helps save drip. Because this has, I forget how many thousands of trillions it has. Drip only has a few million. So it does require liquidity to come in and people to see something, but I have an idea for a test that I want to build in maybe the next month. That'll just be private and I'll just figure it out. But I just think that all of these items, whether it's, what is this, the Treasury page? Treasury. Yep, that's the one I was looking at. Like seeing all of this is really important for pretty much for liquidity only. It doesn't help. I don't feel that it helps make you predict anything. I think you have to go in and understand it at the programmatic level before you can truly go, oh, here's what it does. Because, hey, look, when you take a look at the other dApps out there, a lot of people, we thought we knew a lot of stuff, and I didn't do a deep dive, but I didn't know as much as I do now. But this is really sound. And, Bank Teller's doxed. Everybody knows what he looks like. He has a LinkedIn profile. The whole 9 yards there. So let's go. So it has this mechanism where when people buy it, it not only allows them to purchase the elephant token, it has kind of a component in the middle that says it's going to buy it at the cheapest price. And that's really important because it shows a level of intelligence and level of architecture that is focused on what is the thought, what is the intent, and how to programmatically plan it versus having a human doing it. Because humans act with emotion. Now, Bertha, she's supposed to be, the most greedy AI out there, and she's going to eat all of that liquidity. And there's a process in there, and I'm not going to try to, go over everything. I will tell you to go look at Dune, and I'll tell you that I'm only going to talk about Bertha today, because one of the things that Stun even broke up was reflections, and talking about how those reflections work. It was interesting. The way that the distribution via this dApp works. Now, while I think it's super interesting, is because all of this stuff, I feel games should, sit on top of it. Let me go to a better background. I think games can go on top of this, and not like, it doesn't have to be a Call of Duty. It can just be a simple game, a Candy Crush, who knows? But somebody's winning something that, sometimes they make offers in games and they want you to spend fiat. But what if you, in those little idle games, to get a booster, you just paid with something that's already appreciating, and not be a part of the mechanism, just be using it for your game, right? So I think that's what's next in fintech. I think it's, gaming is already there, but I think it's going to go even further. So I'll talk about some AI news and I'll get out of here. So sorry, I got a message. So Midjourney has really taken off. It understands privacy, but it also understands that people really want to use a website. But the graphics are getting crazier with the regulation that came out regarding AI can't be copyrightable. I think it was a federal court. I think that adds a lot of freedom to people who wanted to put things out there, because the whole problem was, if I create something and somebody else claims it as their copyright, But if you're not able to copyright it, then that kind of takes away the argument and you can get back to creation or creating. Claude, I don't know. I know everybody talks about ChatGPT, but you should really look at Claude. Claude is a very no-nonsense kind of AI. It tells you no, I can't a lot. It'll go back and do it sometimes, but it really gives you information that you need, and it helps to teach you. Right, who agrees? It really helps to teach you better ways to come up with your prompts. And one of the things that I think that you guys should kind of pay attention to as well is the ChatGPT app. The ChatGPT app allows you to talk into it, right? And it does a good job at sometimes changing what you say. Let's say you're long-winded, or you go, oh, I don't want to say that. It removes that. You don't see it. You know how with your chat app now you talk and it like writes it out? With this ChatGPT app, you can go in and it'll talk, and it just gives you a better experience. It helps you get more used to the keyboard part. So lastly, if you're here, I don't know, what are you doing here? Like, I already asked that you don't like to subscribe or follow, but we like the comments. But I was thinking, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I really do think I have an idea, and not to make money, to help the drip ecosystem, but it incorporates elephant, right? But not as anything I need to do other than use and create a game on top of. So with that said, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the 60 who show up for the show. Not 60, 12 who show up for the show. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. I know that we've been here a year plus, and we don't even have 250 people, but I don't care. Well, maybe we have 250, but we're not trying to get to 1,000. We're just trying to make sure that if you come here, you learn something by the end of it. Yeah. So remember, keep your money safe. Hold on. Understand your developer. Blah blah blah. Hi, mom. And game on.